Chris and Tom are back at it again, doing some more detonation and continuing.
Screw detonation. More Bloodborne.
More Bloodborne. Bloodborne.
Okay, we talked about weapons a shit ton.
No, we talked about primary weapons. We didn't even talk about the offhand, which was my favorite part of the game, Tom.
Really?
Yeah.
There are only 2 offhand weapons that I used. I started with the pistol, just because I didn't want to use the blunderbuss, just because that's what all the demos were using, and I was like, I want to change it up.
I used a blunderbuss because I'm like, dude, I feel like a pirate. That's exactly the reason I chose that. But my favorite offhand weapon in that game. You want to hear it, Tom?
Tell me it's what I think it is. What is it?
It's Evelyn.
Really?
Evelyn is my favorite. It is.
I never even used it once.
Ridiculously good.
I never actually used it once.
You should definitely use it when you get it.
Do you want to know what my favorite offhand weapon that I used?
Please tell me it's the cannon.
It is the cannon.
Okay. I will tell you this. I actually upgraded the cannon all the way at the end. Well, not all the way. I got to 9.
Yeah.
It does 900 damage.
Yeah.
It was like 600 damage on the stat board.
So, like, what I would do is I'd go into boss fights with, or when I knew it was a boss that I can't counter, with the normal shots, I would go in with max ammo, which means 2 shots for the cannon.
Yes.
I would go in with that max, and then I would have the equipped,
the bone marrow?
Yeah, I would have the bone marrow equipped, which increases your damage for your sidearm. So, like, if I just get in a sticky situation, I would just back up and just blast them with the cannon for, like, 1,500 damage.
Yeah. And it only takes 2 of those.
It hits like a truck.
Yeah. Definitely awesome.
But downside is it takes 10 bullets per shot, and you can only carry 20 bullets.
Unless you get the upgrade, or those runes that give you +4. So you can carry 24.
But still won't get you another shot with the cannon.
God damn it, that cannon was good.
But as far as like regular gameplay goes, I literally used the blunderbuss and nothing else. Just because it was the best for my playstyle. Being up front and close to them, and then just, if I was given the chance to counter, I would just blast them right in the face with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Did a decent amount of damage, and it had like the best counter rate. So you could be a little more open in your timing.
And most of the time when you shot them, they would drop down to 1 knee or so, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, which the visceral attacks become like absolutely necessary the closer you get towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I would second that.
Like, and fighting the final boss, not final boss, like your final boss that you faced, I fought a boss after you because I got the super secret.
Yeah, you got the super secret ending.
But fighting Gernam, you could, without too much difficulty, make him go into the state where you can do the visceral attacks. So he ended up not being too difficult, other than the fact that he was fast and did a lot of damage, but the fact that you can do criticals on him makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, it made that fight pretty quick. But, what was... The thing I didn't like about the offhands, there's too many torches. I mean, there's the hunter's torch and a torch.
Well, they give you the basic one to start, but I never even equipped the torch once.
They have a shocker,
Didn't bother.
Tom, you can buy the shocker. And you know what I'm doing right now.
Is it close to the Spocker?
Oh, yeah, or the rocker.
Much more power than the teaser or the pleaser.
Oh, if only we could put up images of every one of those.
Oh, we can. We're gonna have to start telling me to do things for edits, otherwise I'm never gonna learn to do all the stuff that Premiere can do. Tom, count to 1 now, doing the actual counting method that you learned in high school. Teaser, pleaser, shocker, spocker. Rocker. Do it now! Do it!
Oh, that's awesome.
As far as sidearms went with Bloodborne, I really just used the shotgun. That was it. That's all I needed for my strategy.
That's what I used until I beat the game, and I realized that Evelyn's pretty good, and I'm doing New Game Plus, obviously, just kind of, I need to get that super secret ending. I can't just let you be the only one to get the platinum on that game.
Yeah, well, I'm literally just doing a New Game Plus to beat it on New Game Plus, because I want to, because the game's that goddamn awesome and that challenging that it's honestly is one of the greater points in my trophy list, is the fact that I've gotten platinums on all the Souls games so far.
Yeah, I find that very impressive, because based on me playing them, obviously, I'm just like, fuck these games. But now I might have a newfound appreciation for them. We'll see. Stay tuned for future episodes.
Yeah, like, what was it like when you finally beat a boss that took you forever to actually defeat?
The only boss that truly gave me trouble right away was the Celtic Beast, because I didn't know.
Really?
And then, like, you were talking about how Father
Gassion, or Gascoigne.
Yeah, he. You said that you had kind of trouble with him. I beat him on the first try. I just kind of backed up and took my time with him.
Yeah, well, I really wasn't expecting the werewolf transformation. So as soon as he did that, Steve was watching my stream, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then he just fucking barreled on me, and he killed me in one combo super fast.
Yeah, well, what happened for me with that, when that happened, is I had that little music box, because I talked to that little girl, and
you actually used it properly?
Well, I was like, okay, they wouldn't give me a stupid music box if it wasn't going to be useful, and I'm able to equip it. So, once it turned to a werewolf, I'm like, well, because she said something that was her dad, too. So I'm like, well, maybe he won't attack me as much if I use this. Maybe I'll, like, stun him and be like, oh, I'm still human, kind of. And I was like, okay, where's that?
Which is exactly what it does.
Yeah, I was like, pushing down quick, and it takes a while to use it, and I'm like, okay, got it. Nice. And yeah, so that's, I mean, doing it the correct way.
What I did to beat him was just use Molotovs. He's really weak to fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the next part and keep seeing before we get into the physical gameplay, like, we want to get to. I still want to talk about armor, because there's a fuck
armor
ton.
Was probably it's still not even as much as if you compare it to like Demon Souls and Dark Souls, but the kind of disappointing fact is that you can't upgrade it, and that's what really set apart different armor sets, is that they really they did that kind of in favor of having it the more active combat style, so they got rid of the weight from armor, so there was nothing like that there that would hinder your movement.
Yeah.
So I think that was really the primary reason behind that choice in design, is to not upgrade the armor, is because all the armor was pretty close to each other. Like, they really the major difference between the armors is just looks, and that's why I didn't really like the whole armor thing, or the whole armor design of this game.
I thought all the armor looked cool, and I think they did it that way is because they wanted people to play the game. They didn't, that people said it was a Souls game, but they wanted it like an intro, because I bet you, obviously Bloodborne 2, they're going to have to make a second one, because that game is awesome.
Yep.
So I think the next one, maybe they'll try to cater it more to the hardcore players, now that they kind of let people dip their feet. Because this one was a lot easier than any of the Dark Souls games. My basic opinion on that.
Yeah. It definitely, it's a spiritual successor to the Souls, just through difficulty and playstyle, kind of. But other than that, it's almost like, I don't even like referring it to this, but like a dumbed down Souls game, or not dumbed down. I would say focused.
Yeah, it did what it wanted to do and didn't make the user think, of too many different things like armor, They focused more on combat, basically. They wanted action versus the strategy part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would.
Yeah, that's definitely the design point of Bloodborne, is that they focused on the gameplay and getting people into the fighting versus some of the more RPG elements that Dark Souls has.
They dumbed down
Dark
the
Souls
stats.
actually requires like a legitimate amount of planning for your weapons and what you want to run into combat with. Whereas this, you can kind of go in with just about anything and you should be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's probably why there wasn't nearly as many stat choices that you could pick. I mean, they only had 6 choices.
Yeah, stat choices, there weren't as many weapons overall.
Yeah. I mean, arcane for a stat isn't even useful.
Most of their paths were a combination of skill and strength.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for the
still,
armor, though...
like...
Oh.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
Okay, but like what I was going to say is, like, for the armor, I mean, there wasn't much difference between them, but the looks of them, by God, like, towards the end... Like, some of those armors just look badass. Like, my favorite is definitely the crow feather that you get from the Crow Knight. Or Crow Hunter, my bad.
Oh, you mean the...
Once you do her quest line, or you kill her.
Or fail the quest line in my respect. That's exactly what I did. I absolutely failed the quest line.
Mine glitched. Like, she didn't show up at the end. She just wasn't there. So I had to just do New Game Plus. I just ran over there and just killed her.
Oh.
I thought I figured
I found her the first time, and then I don't think I missed the second appearance of her. So I failed it.
Yeah, you had to go back.
So then I just found her in the final area and killed the shit out of her. And that's where you get the Blade of Mercy, which once I get that maxed out, that's gonna be my single target focus weapon that I'll use, just because it's so fast and does so much damage.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely be trying this now, that weapon, just because.
It's so fast. That's why I love it so much. Let's talk about the bosses. Because obviously, Souls games, bosses are crucial to how the game feels and how you go about it. I loved the variety that was there.
Yeah, every boss I felt was a different fight. Like, I didn't think any 2 fights were the same. I mean, yeah, you could sidestep them and stuff, but each boss brought something new. Between throwing up on you, spawning more enemies, all of a sudden transforming halfway through the fight, getting faster.
Yeah.
Healing themselves. I didn't, think a boss fight, would be healing. And I was like, shit. Good thing I did enough damage to muscle through it.
Yeah. Cleric Beast was the first encounter, and that's definitely a good stepping stone into the boss fights.
Yeah, that was...
You can kind of easily predict him, but he hurts pretty bad when he hits you.
But it wasn't bad enough, Like, it was just enough where you could take a couple hits and kind of back up and then go for it some more.
Yeah. And then Father Gassion gets you to the more aggressive bosses right away.
Your face right away.
He is a bastard.
What
boss gave you the most trouble? I mean, you said the Cleric Beast right away just because you didn't really know what Bloodborne was going to throw at you.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning of the game.
But once you beat him, you realize, man, he was easy. So I wouldn't say he was my hardest. The hardest boss fight, I'm going to say it right now, it's Rom, the spider. The spider.
Really?
Yeah, because if you sit around and you focus those spiders, she keeps spawning them. You can't do that. You need to run up, dodge all the spiders, get to the side.
She never continuously spawned them for me.
Are you kidding me? She kept spawning them no matter how many times I would kill them?
She spawned them in waves for me.
Oh, no, she would keep
she'd spawn them, and then you could kind of freely go up and hit her once you cleared them out, and then she would teleport away, and then she would summon the next wave, and then she'd learn a couple moves.
Yeah,
in the process,
stupid
like the long range meteor storm or whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to call that, rock throw, basically.
Which hurts a lot. That was the real surprising part, is how much that hurt. Yeah. But yeah, I think I died only twice on Rom.
So we actually had different experiences then, because like for me, every time you would kill one of those spiders, another one would just show up. And
really?
Yeah, so that was what the most frustrating. So I didn't kill any of the spiders. I dodged.
Yeah, eventually you just go around the side and just.
Yeah, just dodge all of them and then kill them all. And that's why I thought that was the hardest fight. Is just because, for me, I mean, she did that. So obviously you didn't have that same experience, so.
Yeah.
The second might have been the Putrid Beast. I thought
Putrid Beast.
He was the one that would just keep throwing up on you, and you had to kill the bells. I believe the bell ringers up on top.
Oh, that's the great one.
Oh, the great one. That's it.
Is what he's called. Yeah, I died to him first, and I'm just like, okay, those bell guys are annoying. There must be a way up there, and there's just like, yep, there's a pathway up there.
Yeah,
you just kill them all, and then as soon as you kill them, it's just like, oh, well, this is really easy. He's super easy to dodge. So I had no troubles whatsoever on him. Honestly, the worst boss fight that I had, probably just because I went there too early in the game. I had the most trouble on the Blood-Starved Beast.
Really?
In Old Yarnum. Oh. Just because, like, with the armor that I currently have equipped, that's like the only time I actually had to change armor to do a fight.
I think I
was because the current armor I had, he poisoned me immediately if he touched me.
Yeah.
So that was just like, fuck that. It was terrible fighting him like that. As well as, like, Old Yarn. He was the third boss I fought, was Blood-Starved Beast. Yeah, I think I went to Old Yarnum just way too early.
Yeah, probably. I think like I said, I thought every boss, I mean, each one of them were fairly difficult at first, but once you learned how to do them, definitely a lot, they had a set pattern, you were able to predict them. But
yeah, that's like kind of the entire point of Bloodborne, is that you kind of expect to die your first run-in with a boss or a new enemy.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay.
You just gotta learn as much as possible from that death.
Yeah,
but what was the easiest boss you had, or that you dealt with?
To be honest, it was the nurse. The final fight, basically.
Same.
You get behind
technically
her,
final fight.
Yeah, you get behind her and you're just, okay, that's it. You get behind her, she can't do anything to you because she only attacks straight.
Yeah, she really couldn't do a whole lot. It was like pretty surprising how honestly she did like massive combos of quick strikes, but if you could evade them, it was like nothing.
Yeah, and she
like
only
they did like every
ahead.
Single hit. Yeah, and every single hit wasn't especially damaging by itself.
Yeah, I mean, once you were able...
And then she brought out the double, and I'm just like, oh shit, there's a double now. And then it hit me and like took down maybe like 5% of my health per hit, and I'm like, you're nothing. You're nothing compared to the other bosses I've faced. You're weaker than a lot of the standard enemies I fought.
As long as you stayed close and you had that your auto lock on, it automatically locked onto the correct one, so you didn't have to worry about it.
Well, yeah, and if you hit the real, or if you hit the fake one, it would immediately disappear.
Oh, yeah, I never did that. I just followed the real one. I mean, I beat her in the first shot, so...
Yeah, same. I didn't even have any difficulties.
And then once you get back and you realize that was kind of the last fight, you're like,
yeah,
that was it?
Last real required fight. And I was just, no, like, when it finished up, it was just like, instead of saying prey slaughtered or whatever, I forget exactly what it says.
Yeah, it says prey slaughtered.
But it said nightmare slain, and I was just like, really? That was the nightmare? Like, that was, I don't know if we just somehow got it into a certain pattern where it was just super easy, but it was just like ridiculous how easy that fight was, considering that was supposed to be essentially your final fight.
Yeah, I mean, I would second that I thought that was supposed to be a lot harder, and then all of a sudden I looked it up, and afterward I beat it, I was kind of reading up on the game some more, because I thought it was a great game.
Yeah,
so
that's the exact point I started reading up on it too, because I'm just like, okay, like, you're at the end. I mean, the hunter's dream is now on fire. It's just like, this is pretty clearly end game. But yeah, like, that's the point where I started to look up. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna platinum this game, and this is the end game. Is there something I'm missing that can lead me to a trophy?
See, that's what I did too. Was like, I did that, and I started reading more about the game, and I'm like, I thought she would
I cheesed one of the endings. I cheesed the easiest of the endings.
Did you go all the way and just... You did the
I made a copy of the game.
That's what I did too. If you look at my trophies, I beat the...
Yeah, you have the first two...
Yeah, I have the first two, and you have the first and the third.
I have first and the third.
Yeah, I did the same thing. You could have got the second one if you would have just cheesed it, or if you would have.
I know, but I was reserving it for New Game Plus because fighting Gurnem definitely feels like that should be the real final boss fight of the game. Just by you're fighting another hunter, and he's freaking strong, and he's fast, and he's just like. That fight was probably one of the more fun fights I've had, was fighting him. Even though I never actually died to him, he was probably one of the most fun because he's so different and he kind of follows you.
Yeah, he had different attacks. He switched to his gun, he'd actually shoot at you. But, like, man, when all of a sudden I walked out to that tree and I seen it was him sitting there, I was like, motherfucker. And then it's like, refuse or accept, and I'm like, well, I should save here, because I realized there was 2 endings, and all of a sudden I just accepted it. Well, yeah, 3, my bad. I accepted it right away, and all of a sudden he cuts your head off. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then you get just reawoken back into regular life.
Yeah, it's normal.
So I guess that's like a good ending.
Yeah, but when that happened, I was like,
ending.
What the hell does this mean? Like, I was actually kind of confused. Like, was everything a dream? How? I don't. Yeah, I guess I didn't get that one.
Like, that's one thing that the Souls franchise kind of always does, is that the story is there if you look for it, and it's mostly like in like item descriptions.
Okay.
But like it doesn't explicitly like tell you everything.
Yeah, and
it doesn't walk. There's like very few cutscenes, which is kind of the point of it. Like, they don't really intend you to spend all your time in a story in this game.
Yeah.
They intend for you to learn the reward, and then there are some special cases where if you pay attention to the item sets and stuff, you can figure out boss weaknesses and stuff, like the music box.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna have to like kind of maybe look on some forums and kind of read up on the endings of what they mean, because
like,
I mean,
if you look it up, there's actually some pretty cool stuff, like kind of what I've based a lot of my names off whenever I make a new name for something.
Okay.
I always choose Sith. He was a boss fight in Dark Souls 1.
Yeah,
and like wolf, if you read up and figure out what his actual story is, like, he's a giant wolf who wields a greatsword. It's really fucking cool. But if you read up on the backstory of it, and if you play the DLC, you can actually rescue him in the past in the DLC, which takes you to a past version, and you learn more about him. And then if you beat him, or if you save him in the DLC, and then you go back to the regular game to fight him in the regular world, he remembers you, and he like plays around with you happily for a little while, and then it's just like, then he's just like, I gotta do what I gotta do, because he's defending his friend's grave.
Oh, okay.
And you have to defeat him in order to finish the game. So like, he playfully welcomes you, and like, honestly, like, pounces on you and gives you a little lick, but then he jumps off and kind of sadly grabs the sword from the grave and then starts fighting you. Yeah, it's just like, oh, I really don't want to kill you. And then if you get him down to like below 1/8 health, he starts limping, and it's just like, oh god, I don't really want to kill you, you're so cool.
God, I can't wait till those come out on the PS4 so I can try, muscle my way through. I feel like I need to.
Dark Souls 1 might never make it. Dark Souls 2 obviously is coming out next Tuesday by the time of this recording. But yeah, you'll find out in the main areas of Dark Souls 2. This was kind of a big complaint from a lot of Souls fans on Dark Souls 2, is that most of the bosses were human-like in Dark Souls 2.
Oh, okay.
There weren't too many, like, monsters.
So it's kind of like the hunters in Bloodborne? I mean, there's a bunch of hunters you gotta go kill kind of. Stuff.
They still were, in general, pretty large. Like, if they were human-based, they were still pretty fucking huge humans.
So just kind of like giants?
But they were still human-like. There weren't too many, like, strange beasts and shit like that. Whereas frickin' Bloodborne throws those at you regularly, fucking beasts.
Yeah, werewolves.
Werewolves, there are aliens.
Yeah, the aliens, I didn't get that part.
Yeah, I didn't really understand, and I was just like, they aren't particularly difficult, but I'd never really allowed them to do anything to me.
Right?
Because I'm just like, you'll probably beat the shit out of me if you even touch me. So I just never allowed them to get near me.
Even like that optional boss, the celestial being, I didn't even let him touch me, and and he was a huge alien.
The celestial emissary.
Yeah. Did you find the secret one, the daughter?
Yeah, you have to for one of the optional. Oh she's an optional boss for a trophy.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like I was sitting there.
Yeah,
like,
she was hard, she was hard for where I was at in the game. Yeah, she was fucking tough. She one-shotted me once she started using magic.
Yeah, that meteor shower thing that just instantly pretty much kills you in one shot. Oh, yeah, rough fight actually. I forgot.
Yeah, I finished her off with 2 cannon shots. I got her low enough in health, and I'm just like, fuck you! I just backed up and blasted her ass with 2 cannon shots.
Where else can we go with this?
Overall game feel, what did you think? I mean, obviously it's a Souls game that's more active, more emphasis on being in their face and dodging versus blocking and analyzing everything. But like the aesthetic, I loved.
Yeah, I like the gothic
horror.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, the weird part when the aliens showed up, I didn't get that whole part of it. He just kind of was like, "There's aliens."
Just happened, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah, I just kind of was like, I guess this is where we're going with this. Just left it at that.
But overall, like, it did something that honestly I hadn't experienced since Dead Space, where I was like legitimately terrified to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the bosses,
some of the monsters, they're so hard, and then they're fucking terrifying. Like the first time you see the
wolf,
mutated crows.
Oh yeah, those two.
Those things scared the shit out of me the first time I saw them. And then they get grosser over time, like towards the end, they're mutated where they have the wolf's head on the crow body. It's just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like the wolf, like all of a sudden at the beginning, I mean, you could kill it, but like you had to die. I didn't expect that. Like, I knew I was going to die in that game, and then all of a sudden I have to die.
That's the best way. That's the best way to introduce someone to your game, to expect what you're expecting. And also to show off how useless you are without the weapons.
Yeah. Yeah. You did like 4 damage.
You hit 4 damage, and then you get to the actual fight, and you do like 120 per hit, and it's just like, goddamn.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a lot better now. But, I mean, the feel of that game was awesome. Especially like when you advance and the sky starts turning orange, and it actually, when you kill some bosses, it actually changes where the enemies are located.
And once the moon changes, you see the hidden enemies. Or the hidden huge aliens. It's just like, these fucks are everywhere.
Yeah, that just can pick you up and kill you in one shot.
Scares the shit out of you.
God.
Except for that one where you have to get grabbed to get teleported to a different area of the nightmare.
Yeah, to get to the forbidden area, or the unseen, or something like that it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the game, awesome. Loved it.
It looks amazing.
It plays awesome. I mean, if you die, it's your fault. Sometimes the camera angle screws with you, but for the most part, I mean, it's really your fault for cornering yourself. I mean, you need to have the map awareness.
Like, that's exactly what this game absolutely needs about it, is the fact that you have to, it has to be your fault for dying. If it's something else, then you'll just get super frustrated and you'll just never finish the game.
Yeah.
But it makes it hard enough so that every mistake seriously counts. And you're just like, But you're just like, every single time it's just like, okay, I can't let that happen again. I can do this. It's just, so few games can have that feel exist. And Souls franchise is what's been doing that best.
Yeah, From Gaming is just killing it right now.
From Software.
Gaming. I was close. I was close.
The one thing that I just don't really want to do, but you gotta do for the platinum, is the Chalice dungeons. Which are the procedurally generated dungeons that you can get. and playthrough, and there's one boss that's required, or that's a trophy, and you have to go like 6 or 7 chalice dungeons deep in order to get to her, and I am assuming the hardest boss in the game.
Well, the funny thing is that you actually see her like 4 or 5 times in the game itself.
Yeah, you see her right at the end, right before you beat that nightmare at the top.
Yep, and you see her at Rom.
Of that
you
tower,
talk to her
and then she just disappears.
Yeah, she's at the lake with Rom. She teleports you.
Yeah.
You see her so many times, and then all of a sudden now she's the final boss hidden deep within these hard-ass dungeons.
Yeah, and just getting through those dungeons, it just takes so much time, is the thing. I mean, I understand for some people, they'll really want that. Instead of going through the same game over and over again, you can have it randomly happen so that you really kind of depend on it. But it's just not what I enjoy. But yeah, I'm just kind of getting frustrated by how long the Chalice dungeons are and how much it just takes to get through them. Although I'm really interested to see what the final super hardest boss at the end of all of it is. But
the thing too about the Chalice dungeons is that New Game Plus doesn't affect its difficulty. It's only one difficulty.
That's a plus.
Yeah, that is very...
Especially considering I got to the 3rd Chalice dungeon and the difficulty ramped up significantly at that one.
You realize
the first
that
2 were a breeze. I was one-hitting everything.
Yeah, and then you realize that, shit, I can't one-hit these anymore.
Yeah, and the difficult part was at the end of the 3rd Chalice dungeon, my boss at the end of that was defeating Rom again.
That's what mine was too.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, and it was actually easier that time than the first time. Yeah.
All right. I guess. Awesome. Yeah. Fun conversation. I love talking about Bloodborne.
Yeah, I guess we got one more. I got at least one more topic I want to talk about. So,
okay.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Kidding.
But seriously, it will be DBZ in next episode.
Yeah.
We're not even going to play any we're not going to play any of the DBZ games. We're actually just going to watch the show.
Yeah.
And not even talk. It's literally just going to be an episode of DBZ.
Face Cero reacts to Goku turning to Super Saiyan 3.
I'm guessing that it's just going to be a lot of yelling.
For a whole episode, 20 minutes worth.
Oh, indeed. Alright. Never mind. More Bloodborne next time, and other topics. Yay! More detonation. Later.
Later.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.